My name is Comfort, Paul Comfort, and I have a license to ride. And welcome to the second part of our two-part series of Transit Unplugged TV from Australia. We just came from a great time in part one in Melbourne and in the great island of Tasmania. And now we're in the Sunshine Coast of Australia, near Brisbane in Queensland. And on this episode, we're going to show you the food, fun, and culture of this region, and then take you into Brisbane. You're going to see the transit system, the metro, talk to the leaders, and some of the great animals you can only find in this region of the world. All on this episode of Transit Unplugged TV. We were lucky enough to get a weekend enjoying this beautiful and unique Sunshine Coast region, north of Brisbane, to visit the Australia Zoo and then explore the Noosa River. First off, an amazing afternoon, unexpectedly getting to visit up close and personal with some of the Australian wildlife, like kangaroos, koala bears, and a real Tasmanian devil. Then on to the Noosa River beach area, a laid-back Aussie-style beach town where the vibe is definitely chill, with wandering wildlife and sidewalk cafes. An evening riverboat cruise is a wonderful way to close the day, again with fantastic wildlife on display and the sunset on the horizon, enjoyed with new friends. Then on to the bustling river city of Brisbane, capital of Queensland, and home to nearly 4 million people. It's the third largest city in Australia.
So, Councilman, I want to go over to these wharfs over here and have some dinner tonight, but I got one question. How do I get there?
Or you jump on one of our 26 CityCats or our 5 kitty cats. This is a little kitty cat here. And it will take you one stop over there to Howard Springs Wharves.
All right.
That's how you get there.
Let's do it.
Ryan, we're out here on your CityCat ferry service here in Brisbane, man. This is awesome.
It's pretty good. It's a great way to see the city.
Yeah, tell us about it, what this is.
Well, the CityCat network in Brisbane comprises 22 terminals, 26 CityCats that provides effectively a 15-minute service up and down the Brisbane River. This is the key barrier in our city, the north side and the south side of the river. And it's a way that Brisbane residents can connect with the river and get to destinations up and down the river in our city.
That's great. What a beautiful view, too. The bridges, this is amazing.
Well, Brisbane used to be a port city, so the river was very much about getting goods into and out of the city. But as the city's grown up, we've turned more to the river as a destination in its own right, and then as a means to move around Brisbane. So you can see we've been expanding the network for the last few years, and there's more expansions afoot. But we do so with these CityCats. It's a unique catamaran vessel.
Okay.
We started this network in 1996, and here we are in 2024. We take about 5 million passengers a year now.
As a city councilman, could you tell us about the role that public mobility, public transportation plays in the overall city infrastructure, economic development, what's happening here in the city?
Public transport is the great equaliser. So it allows people to connect with the spaces and places in our city that they otherwise wouldn't be able to get to on their own or in their private vehicle.
Michael, I've been very impressed with some of your leaders that I've met here in Australia that have been just great transit leaders. Tell me about your company, Transit Systems. How do you get these great leaders, man?
Thanks, Paul. That's a very good compliment. We do have some fantastic employees and leaders in the business. So Transit Systems is the public transport division of a company called Kelsian. Kelsian is a top 200 listed company here in Australia. It's Australia's largest multimodal transport operator. We operate tourism services, mass transit services, and services the resources sector and for education. And we run those services here in Australia, of course, but we're also in Singapore, we're in the UK, we're also in the US too, which is very exciting. So Australian business going global, which is always cool to be part of.
Steve, tell me about this program, the Brisbane Metro Program.
The Brisbane Metro Program is a really exciting project for Brisbane City Council and the City of Brisbane. We're introducing 60 new Metro vehicles, which are battery electric vehicles. Where we currently stand today is the Metro Depot, located in Rochedale in the south of Brisbane.
Steve, how does this service fit into what you're already doing? Kind of describe how the program works.
Yeah, great question, Paul. So in Brisbane City Council, we operate the public transport system on our bus network. We also have a rail network in the city as well that's operated by the state government. So what we're doing is that we're changing that bus network to connect into and interchange with the introduction of a high capacity, high frequency service. So traditionally, our buses carry everybody into the city, those people needing to work in the CBD, carry in full in the morning, come out relatively empty in the morning, and vice versa in the afternoon. And what we're doing through the introduction of a high capacity, high frequency turn up and go service like the Metro is changing that bus network so that we can provide more services in our suburbs to connect into that dedicated busway infrastructure that's already in place in our city. So that particular busway or busways through our city has been a raging success.
So tell me about this beautiful new vehicle.
So our new Metro vehicle is 24.5 metres long. It's what's called a bi-articulated battery electric vehicle, so it has 2 articulation joints located in there. Our other vehicles on the network are 18 metres long in comparison, or 12.5 or 14.5 metre rigids. We have 3 double doors located on the side of the vehicle for people to get on and off the vehicle. We have a driver separated cabin, so it's very much like a train or a light rail vehicle in the fact that the driver is separated from the passenger compartment. A fully automated accessibility ramp for those people requiring assistance to get on and off the vehicle. So Paul, here we have our maintenance facility for our Brisbane Metro vehicles. This is able to maintain and service all of our vehicles that will be in operation.
We just went to Los Angeles and they were talking about how they're moving toward in the next Olympics, 2028. You guys are the ones after that, but they want to do a car-free, transit-first Olympics. The folks there were telling me that the city's literally going to double in size during the Olympics. Tell me about that and what you're doing with that.
Yeah, definitely. We're certainly planning for that event. It's a really big 4 weeks of both the Olympics and the Paralympics not long after. And a lot of our venues are located on existing corridors that we service with our bus network, and the plan is that we'll change out those bus networks for our new Metro services such that we can connect to those really important Olympic venues located in the CBD and out in the suburbs as well, where the events will be held.
I enjoy dropping into the Modaxo ANZ head office, which hosts the Trapeze Group and Corvanta brands. I was able to share some of the latest public transport and leadership trends. I love getting the opportunity to meet our staff around the globe, and everyone was just so friendly and welcoming. Then a tour of Cross River Rail, a new 10.2 kilometer rail line with 5.9 kilometers of twin tunnels under the Brisbane River and the Central Business District, plus 4 new underground stations.
Darren, this is very exciting being here. Tell us where we're at.
We're at Roma Street at the moment, so this is obviously part of the Cross River Rail project for us.
What is the Cross River Rail?
Yeah, so it's part of a wider network rail project because obviously there's a lot more in it than just the tunnel and the stations that we're in. It's actually transforming the whole of the rail network for us. So some trains will start to use our Cross River Rail tunnels, and we'll have 4 new underground stations as part of that as well. So one in the heart of the city, which will be Albert Street, which will totally transform how people travel. As a Queensland state project, Roma Street is actually really exciting because it's a station where we've had to work around the customer movement as well. They're obviously on the surface network, but building within the heart of the rail network means that we have to manage customers through disruption as well.
What an amazing station, and you all are doing this really part of your efforts to get ready for the 2032 Olympics coming here to Brisbane.
Yeah, it's so exciting, isn't it? The Olympics are coming. It's such an amazing catalyst for the rail network to have that on the horizon. And you can see here, like, we've got some really tangible stuff you can start to see that customers will start to see and use and be part of the actual transport system for the Olympics as well.
Finishing our evening with a dinner of local Asian fare on the Brisbane Harbour near the Story and Kangaroo Point bridges. Fellowshipping and sharing stories with local leaders of their public transport and upcoming Brisbane Olympics.
Wow, isn't this great to be back in Miami? We are at Miami Beach, only Miami Beach, Queensland, 9,000 miles away from Miami Beach, Florida, but it looks the same. We're on the Gold Coast of Australia on my last day here in this great nation on this 10-day trip. We're at AusRail, the National Rail Conference in Australia, where we're in the exhibition hall. And in just a few moments, I'll be speaking on U.S. travel trends when it comes to railroads. It's going to be a great time. Butcher, great to see you again. I saw you 5 years ago, my last visit, and we're seeing you here in the Gold Coast at the AusRail conference.
Yeah, I can't believe it's 5 years, Paul. So welcome back, and certainly an industry that keeps growing.
That's right, and you guys are a big part of it. I was so excited to be able to go to Melbourne at the start of this trip and visit some of the folks on your team that are taking over the Yarra Trams project, which is the largest light rail or tram network in the world. Tell me about that, son.
Okay, so the Yarra journey makers operating Yarra trams are really the heartbeat of the state of Victoria. It really connects lives throughout from the city into the suburbs and back. It's also really iconic, so what an exciting time for ourselves in Transdev, really taking on Yarra trams and taking it into the future. Got lots of great plans. Some of those great plans are what we do with rolling stock, what we do with the infrastructure, and most importantly, how we bring that Yarra journey makers into the lives of not only the staff but our travelling public as well.
Since you all operate in so many places around the world, can you give us some of the trends you're seeing in rail transportation around the globe?
Okay, so some of the trends that we're really starting to see is that modal shift again after COVID. We're starting to see passengers come back into the rail, but most importantly as well, that end-to-end journey from door to door is starting to really take off. So a lot of that trends that we're seeing in the major cities, such as Melbourne, Sydney, Queensland and lots of other places, is we're actually starting to see that transportation from end to end and people leaving cars back at home is starting to grow again. And that's certainly been enhanced by some of the initiatives, certainly in Queensland where we are today, the 50 cent initiative, all of those trends. In terms of driving great service from our operators into the customer, we're starting to see people taking a real interest again in that end-to-end journey.
What an amazing time we've had here in Brisbane, Australia. This place is like no place you've ever been. For the fun, the fantastic scenery in Noosa, along the water and the Sunshine Coast, to this amazing city of Brisbane that is focused on public transportation and getting ready for the 2032 Olympics. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe and watch us every month here on Transit Unplugged TV.